Hi, I'm Drew with BCF Group. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. These two coverages are very similar, and as their name states, one is for a driver that has no insurance in place. It covers your bodily injury and medical bills if they don't have enough insurance to cover it. So that the uninsured would be them having no insurance, underinsured would just be them having limits that aren't high enough to pay for your medical bills or injuries. So the way these limits work, you can match them up to the amount that you have on your policy for bodily injury liability. In the state of PA, these coverages only are in place for the bodily injury, and they are not covering any type of property damage liability. Now that varies state to state, but in Pennsylvania that's how it works. There's no coverage. If there was any property damage, such as your vehicle being damaged, then you would just pay for your deductible. If you had comp or collision, if you did not, then you would have to pay for that, or it'd be a civil matter between the two of you. These limits are available, like I said, up to that limit which you have for your auto policy for bodily injury liability. You can also stack these limits. What that means is if your limits are stacked, the coverages are just multiplied by how many vehicles are on your policy. So say there's two vehicles and you have $100,000 worth of coverage for uninsured motorist coverage, you would actually technically have $200,000 to pay for your bodily injury, medical bills, stuff like that. Two things to consider with these coverages that many people do not know. It has to be established that the other party was at fault. So if you're at fault and someone else does not have coverage in place, just because they don't have coverage doesn't mean they're going to pay for your claim or this coverage will come into play. So the other party has to be at fault for this coverage to kick in. And then the other thing that's not really too well known is that if you're involved in a hit and run accident, then these coverages will still come into play. Even if the other party is not present, if they hit your vehicle and flee, they would be considered an uninsured motorist coverage because they weren't able to produce any insurance for the damages. A little known fact about people having insurance is that 1 in 8 drivers is actually uninsured, which that was shocking to me. I thought that number would be much less. So more than 10% of drivers are without insurance. Pretty interesting fact. If you have any questions regarding anything I spoke about, please feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help.